Welcome to a training on the Databricks Workspace. So, first, what is Databricks? Databricks is an online platform that we use to analyze data in Python, R, and SQL. Databricks makes it easy to use Spark, which is a distributed data analysis technology. We're mostly going to be programming in notebooks in your preferred language to do this data analysis. And one important thing to know about Databricks is that Databricks itself is not a store of data, but in our environment, we have lots of connectors for you to easily access your data. Okay, so first, let's tour our workspace by getting a very brief rundown of what is on our sidebar here. I'm going to talk about some of the more interesting things. Many of them are going to get their own micro trainings in the future. So today's video is mostly about this workspace tab, so I'll skip over it for now because we're going to talk about it later. The catalog tab gives you a graphical interface for you to explore all of the SQL tables that you have access to. The Jobs and Pipelines tab is where you can build jobs and pipelines. These are places where you can automate different code runs that you want to run many times or repeatedly in the future. The Compute tab is very important because here's where you are going to build your specific computation cluster. This is where you get to configure your particular Databricks runtime when it comes to running code. The SQL editor also provides access to the catalog up here, but it is also where you have the ability to build and execute SQL queries. The dashboards tab is exactly what it sounds like. You can build and interact with point and click data dashboards that you could build. Okay, so again, many of these tabs will get their own micro trainings, but let's now focus on the workspace tab. So there are two primary places in this workspace tab that are going to be interesting to you. The first is the one that automatically pops up. And if you're coming here for the first time, yours is probably going to be blank. I have very many things that I here that I've worked on in the past. But this is your own personal workspace. You can tell because your email will show up here and it will say workspace users. This is where you can build your own stuff. The only person who has access to this is you and anybody you've shared specific files with. So if you want to work on something by yourself without anybody looking over your shoulder, this is where you want to start building that. One quick note is that you should not ever store data here. The only things stored in here should be notebooks or code files, or I suppose I have dashboards as well, but also no data. There are many reasons for this. We have very many places for you to store your data besides here, but you will also become very frustrated if you store data here because there is a very low file size limit. I believe it is 500 megabytes. So please do not store data here. Also, because we are not responsible for it, Databricks is responsible for maintaining this environment. So if your data vanishes, we can't really do anything about it. Okay, so again, store your own stuff here. This is your personal playground. Next, we have the Workspace tab here. And this is the full workspace of, from my perspective, it shows everybody, but your org will have its own individual folder here. So again, you know the name of your org. It will show up here. You probably won't have this many to look through, but your org will appear here. This is where you should build stuff that you want your entire org to view. Anybody who has access to your org folder will have access to anything you put in here. Again, still, please do not store data in here. It might be tempting, but you do not want to be storing data in your workspace. One last thing is that there is another workspace that we use, and I can't search for it here. It is the community workspace. You have to spell it right. There. CDR PSA community. The user services team frequently holds very different presentations here that we post in public. So if you ever want to view our old training materials, recordings are posted for your access on Portal. But here we have the user services lunch and learns, office hours, Q&A sessions, town hall, interactive sessions. You should be able to access anything here. You should not be able to put anything here, but anything that the user services team has built for training material should exist here as well. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.